We're going to go over how to set up your Bushnell trail camera for our remote camera exercise. So you'll take your remote camera out of the box, the kit that we're giving you, and when you open it up, it should be off, and you should see that there's 8 batteries here, and you should see that there is an SD card. This one doesn't have one in right now, so if I was going to go out in the field, I'd need to go make sure I had a SD card in the slot here. I'll mention just something about the batteries. This model of Bushnell, every once in a while, if you kind of mess around jiggling it, these batteries don't have a hold plate to keep them in line. So I always just kind of go through with my thumb and make sure that they're all flat in there. When you close it, that should hold them there. But every once in a while, if it won't turn on, check that. All right, so we're ready then to set it up for our mission, and you'll see here that there's a on, off, and setup. And so it's in the off position right now. On would turn the camera on and it would start doing its operation, but we want to set up first, so we're just going to slide it up to the first click, and then if you wait a couple seconds, the screen should come on. If it doesn't, again, check your batteries. But we're going to go through the menu, and if you've got for others that aren't in our class that are watching this, if you've got a slightly different model, of course, all these menu options are going to be different, but a lot of them will be the same, and some of the settings that I'll recommend may be good for you to think about, no matter if you're using a Bushnell or something else. So there's a menu button over here on the right. There's an OK button, there's a left and a right button, and there's an up and a down button. And if you're used to touchscreens, ain't going to work. This may feel like one of the like what you imagine the Apollo mission back in the 1960s might have been, but they've designed this pretty niftily to be able to accomplish a whole bunch of functions with only 6 buttons. So we're gonna first of all, we notice that it's not January 1st 2033, and so we're going to want to change that as we go through the menu, but there's some other options that we may want to change as well. So we're going to click the menu button over here on the right, and this will bring us into what's called set mode. And the first screen, that if you're not there yet, just use your left and right buttons and it'll bring you through a series of, I don't know, 9 or 10 different screens. And the one that you should be on is the one that says set mode, and it'll either say camera or video. All right, and so we're in this. The left and the right buttons get us to which type of setup we want to do. We're choosing between camera and video, and we can look at those options by using either the up or down. Doesn't matter which one you press, it'll toggle between your options. So I'm pressing the up, but I could also press the down to toggle between those options. And since there's only 2, it just goes back and forth. For our class, we're just going to use camera. So, but there is a video setting which will take video, and there's some formats for that. But just to kind of keep things simple, we're going to do photos, and so we'll set it on camera. And you can click OK, but in most cases you don't actually have to. You could just leave it on whatever it's set and go to the next setting, and it'll stay on camera. All right, it asks you image size, and this would matter if you were going to be doing a research project where you're leaving this camera out for an extended period of time and you've got a finite amount of space on your SD card. You need to decide. Well, for our class, it doesn't really matter because we're not leaving it out for, like 2 months or something. So you can toggle between here, and you can see that there's 3 megapixel, 5 megapixel, and 8. And essentially that's the resolution of the photo. Just because I don't like to choose hard choices, right? I'm just going to put it on 5 because that's kind of the medium setting, and that's still a good setting. If you want to set it on 8, that's just fine. You probably aren't going to get enough pictures to fill up your SD card. Especially, this used to be a bigger deal when SD cards were a lot smaller than they are nowadays. All right, so that'll be the resolution of the pictures that we get, and that makes a difference if you've got something small down in the corner that, there was like a tail or something that just made it into the photo, and you really want to analyze that photo. Well, the more resolution in that photo you have, the better. So I've talked myself into it. We're going to set it on 8. So there we go. We've got it on 8 now. All right. Capture number. How many photos are we going to take every time something trips this camera? And there's 3, there's 1, there's 2. I'm going to take a burst of 3 photos. So I'll set it on 3. You could just set it to take 1, but sometimes if the animal's coming in and it trips it and it's running quickly, you may only get the nose as it trips it, and then in this way you might get the nose first, and then the whole animal, and then the tail in the third photo, and at least you've got one good one. So a burst of 3 photos is good for that. Video size, we're not doing video, but again, this is where you'd set your video resolution. Again, thinking about your space. The video length, we're not going to worry about that either. The interval has to do with how long the camera will wait before it takes another photo. And so if you want it to, I'm going to take it down actually to 30 seconds. All right, so we'll since we've got such a short time period, I'm going to go down to 30 seconds. The sensor level is either high, low, or normal. I'm going to set it on normal. If you set it on high, you may get a lot of pictures of grass. Every time grass moves or something else moves in the frame, you may get a picture. It's very sensitive. If you set it on low, you may not get much because it'll take a lot to trip it. So I'm going to set it on normal, again, opting for the middle setting there. There's a couple settings here that we don't need. The timestamp is the one that we definitely need to change. We need to change the time, but the timestamp either is on or off, and we want it on because we want to know what time of day a picture was taken. It'll put a little stamp on the photo when it takes it. And then set clock. I'm going to click OK here, and now my little right and left arrow buttons are toggling around so that I can actually set the time. So I can look at my watch and I can set the time that it currently is. That's in 24-hour time. So like 2 o'clock in the afternoon will be 1400. Just add 12 to whatever time it is on your watch past midnight. The year, month, and date. And so I'm not going to change all those right now. We'll go through and for grins, I'll show you we could change the year from 2033 to 2020, which will either be the year you're watching this or it'll be old. So you can see how you change it, and then you just go to the next field. We could change it. Oops, I hit the wrong button, but that's okay. Change it to August. All right, and we just keep going. Today is actually September 2nd. So at least I've got the date set, and I haven't set the time yet. I click OK again to say yes, that's what I want. Now, if you get back out there and you want to set the clock again, just click OK, and you'll go back to it. OK will set it, and you can actually go out to the menu by hitting the menu will. I guess if you hit OK or menu, it'll take you out. All right, so we're back out at the menu now. I'm not going to have it field scan, and I don't have video, so we're gonna have this set to cancel, and we're on camera. Okay, so the main things are the ones that we spent quite a bit of time on, making sure that we have the right things. There's some other things that are default settings, but now we've got it ready to go. So we would potentially keep it on setup, just so we save those settings. Sometimes if you turn it off and batteries get messed around, those settings will disappear, so keep it on setup. And if we were out in the field, I just want to show you how you're going to do the security on this as well. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera there. We've got some locks that once you get the SD card and the camera turned on, you can close the camera. You'll notice if you turn it on that there should be a blinking light here, and it's telling you that it's about ready to start, and in just a little bit it may actually take our picture because we're still in the frame mecking around here. We're going to lock that camera with a little teeny padlock so that'll keep anybody from getting that SD card. You've got keys that come in your kit, and you'll have two identical padlocks, and the smallest key should be the one that fits your padlock, and it'll work on both of your padlocks if I set it up right. Okay, so make sure you use that when you set it out in the field, and access that lock with your key. Close it with these guys here. You'll have the lock on, and then it's time to tie it to the tree. And so it comes with a little nylon webbing that you can use to take it around the tree. It has a, come it back to the other end, it has a little closure on it that you can pull tight. All right, as you cinch it up around the tree or the post or whatever it is that you find that you're going to put this on. But then for added security, we've got a little cable lock, since we're going to be putting these out in areas of campus where there could potentially be a person that comes by and sees it. Each one of these cable locks on the side has a little keyhole, and we're going to try to remember to use the right one. I think this is it. There we go. Okay, so if you just twist that, you'll be able to pull the cable lock, the cable out of the lock. You'll take that around the tree, and there is plenty of cable to put around the tree. And let's say that we've got around the tree and my hand is the tree. So I can just pull that cable tight until that whole cable is tight. And actually, if I move the key back to the lock position, as long as I can usually pull through, okay? So to tighten it, I'm just gonna keep pulling until it's as tight as I can get it. The tree would be in here, all right? And now I can't go backwards though. All right, so that's how the lock works, and you're gonna unlock that. And I just want to show you where, before you put it around the tree, on the back of your camera, there's a little channel that cable will go. So get that cable in there. We'll get that around the tree. And I'll show you outside when I take you outside with the next video. We'll go over how to position that. But this is how the locks will work. And so now you've got everything from how to open the camera, check the batteries, do the setup, and then check for your SD card to make sure that's there, and to do the security of locking it for the SD and using the cable lock to lock it to the tree so that nobody can make off with our wonderful little trail camera. And that's the end. Good luck.